Hello, and welcome back to the Feelings Show. This is, or at least it has been lately. Welcome to CAPERS, the Chicago Way. We have all of the players here again, here ready to go. We had a session, the session last week, kind of wrapped up with some really interesting kind of turns on the revenge and the information that people were seeking. Real quick, let's touch back what happened. Kieran, how'd everything go with the sting? A bunch of some federal agents showed up to bust you guys on your exchange of information, looking for Satroka's mother's. Okay, the other Satroka's mother's killer.
And other Satroka's killer.
And other Satroka's killer, because you are in an alternate Chicago right now.
You know, the verb tense, it's like time travel. You know, you get this, you got to have a whole other language for for talking about alternate universe you.
It could have
basic summary.
Better.
Definitely could have gone better. Yes.
The good news is we got away.
Yes, you got away. That's true.
Got away.
And you took a federal agent with you.
Yes.
Because you're smart.
Because we're good at gangstering.
What happened to the other federal agent?
I
don't remember.
June, would you like to tell everybody what happened to the other federal agent?
Well, we knocked one person out. One person went and got a cop. And then I may or may not have turned one into billions of pieces.
Yeah, there might have been some dynamite involved. And so we, the group, I'm going to say the group did it. The group as a whole, all of you are responsible, blew up a federal agent. And in fairness, left other federal agents alive.
Yeah.
And
they could have been like this guy who's over there, there, and over there.
Wah, wah. And took one with you who played possum in the stolen car that you were driving away. You actually drove away with two stolen cars, but the one you were in, that agent, unbeknownst to you until later, spent her time while being driven around the city on your way to your revenge location, picking through your brains and learning your names, and a little bit about you at least, with the exception of Rose. Apparently, she had a hard time penetrating Rose's mind, and the group of you ultimately decided to let her go. And when you arrived at a very small kind of rundown boarding house, and then went in there, guns a-blazing, thanks to Ollie, who it's not really a Tommy gun unless you pull the trigger, right? Otherwise, it's just
It was a warning shot.
It's a
I
warning
needed
shot.
everybody's attention, and I wanted to see what reaction I'd get.
It was a fully automatic warning shot into the ceiling.
Yes. I made sure there was only one floor before I did it.
That is true. You did that. You determined it was a one-story building, and you wouldn't be shooting someone from underneath their bed. And the group kind of scoped the place out a little bit, ran into a few people that weren't who they were looking for, and eventually found the woman that they're looking for, who was Liz Hollis, this Chicago's version of the Ice Queen, who actually in this version, in this Chicago, is a caper who can can start fires. And the group of you spoke with her, and Satroka, what did you discover when you spoke with Liz?
Well, Satroka was super looking forward to a nice villain that she could conquer, and it turns out that she was actually incredibly remorseful for her actions. She regretted everything that she had done and her whole life, and believed that she was tremendously sick with some sort of illness, which is what it appeared physically to be. So she clearly, when she told us, like, I've already suffered basically for everything I've done. And Stroko's like, well, what?
What do I do now? Yeah, and Stroka was at a loss, and I would go so far as to say that that Liz Hollis was broken.
Little bit,
she
yeah.
She was, in fact, by the time things kind of got toward the end of the discussion, she was, in fact, begging that if you're going to kill her, just please do it because I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
Which
is what made me think that, she was quite sick and probably in a lot of pain, and then Ollie decided to do that for her. And he shot her.
And Ollie pulled the trigger and gave me what might be, at least at this point, my favorite moment in this campaign so far, where this whole discussion is going on, and the people, you guys are like going to let her live, and Satroka's feeling bad about it, and Kieran is remarking that we're going to let you live, and we're going to let you, to dwell on this, and you can suffer for as long as you live, and it's classic Kieran being just a jag, and Ollie Ollie just kind of, or Owen just kind of quietly stated, I pulled the trigger, and that ended her suffering, and the group left. Rose decided that was enough of that for a little while, so she took off to try to clear her head and deal with what she's dealing with over all of this, and sought out the hovel, the shack that her mother back in her Chicago called home, and discovered that her mother, or like this Chicago's version of her mother, is in fact living there, and with a gentleman who is taking care of her because she is very, very ill. From the looks of it, suffering from some sort of early onset dementia or Alzheimer's, something to that effect. Her faculties are not there. At which point Rose decided
to do the nice thing and give her $200 to try and get better before promptly leaving, because she didn't like seeing her mother in such a state, no matter if it was not her mother, but the other Rose's mother. It's really confusing for Rose currently. She's having a bit of difficulty with everything.
Aren't you glad I didn't end up with more than one alternate Earth? Because there was a period in time where I was considering that. But I'm glad I didn't. So there's just the one. So as we pick up here, Rose is off on her own. The other three have a car and are together. You guys did have a little bit of discussion about the kind of general direction you think you're going to go here, but I imagine that we're going to see all of this play out here. We'll start, Rose. Where do you go from here? Given that nobody has cell phones, so nobody can get a hold of you right now.
Well, after having a lovely rest under a bridge, Rose is probably going to go steal some things. Because at this point in time, she would like to do some stuff. For example, purchase flowers for her dead self and put them upon her grave. But she's not certain how much flowers cost, so currently she's going to go steal.
Well, flowers are pretty inexpensive. I mean, there's no florist that's open right now, but you could probably find some in somebody's yard.
Well, then, I guess she's going to steal until it's time for a florist shop to open.
I mean, you're able to find some areas where people are out and about and going to speakeasies, and as the night progresses, stumbling out drunk, and without a terrible amount of difficulty, keeping kind of under the radar, you're able to kind of lift a little money here and there out of people's pockets. Not a huge amount But then again, the average person isn't actually walking around with a huge amount of money. But you cobble together enough money that you could certainly, purchase some basic things, including flowers, and the night rolls along. Anything else in particular over the night? Or is she going to go sleep under a bridge again?
Well, besides wanting to purchase herself some brass knuckles.
If you searched around long enough and talked to, some of the ne'er-do-wells on the street, you could probably find somebody who's willing to let a pair of brass knuckles go. They're not something that you find commonly, but you are savvy enough with the underbelly of the seedier part of society that you could spend some time asking around, bribe a couple people with a few bucks here and there, and get some brass knuckles. So that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't need to sit down and have a haggle over a pair of brass knuckles.
Yeah. After procuring herself some brass knuckles, she's definitely going to go back and sleep the rest of the night under the bridge.
So back to the bridge. Picking up from the group of you leaving, the other three, leaving the boarding house. What are you up to?
A good question.
There has been gunfire, and there's now a dead body inside the building.
Yeah, I imagine we've driven somewhere.
Hmm.
I don't think we stuck around. Hello, cat.
I don't think we stayed there. Kitty, or no, I don't think we stayed around if there was a body.
I think Kieran might be unconscious. I ripped a hole open in reality and then promptly passed out last episode.
Yeah. So
I forgot about that.
You can sleep in the back seat.
So they toss you in and kind of fold you in half and just put you in the back seat.
Yeah.
And
I guess we drive back to where we've been staying.
Back to Citroka's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether that's a good idea or not, that's probably the only place Ollie would think to go.
To the jewelry store, to Citroka's father's jewelry store. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you go back there. That's fine. And, your quote-unquote father, your father, not really your father, has given you a key, so you're able to let yourself in, because he's getting older and goes to bed at a reasonable hour. And it's now, by the time we've dealt with all of this and you've driven back and blah blah blah, it's easily midnight.
Oh yeah.
Is it just sleeping and waiting for the next day, or do you have anything to do?
Yeah, I think I would just like to make sure Kieran is okay. Get him back in the house, and I am just the of course send Dad off to bed. I am worried of my father to leave him here.
The two of you can try to wake Kieran up if you want to have a discussion with him as well. He's been out for a little while now.
Yeah.
Shake him awake. Wake up.
Thank you for that.
Cold water in the face, all that.
Shot of vodka.
Here's a coffee.
Yeah. And a shot of vodka.
Where are we?
We are in an apartment.
We should leave. Get your father, gather up as much jewelry as you can grab.
You think, why?
Our minds were an open book. That agent knows at least a little bit about us.
Mm.
What do you want to do about Rose? She's not going to know where we're going.
If we can get to a safe location, I can find her.
Any ideas where one might be? She said you read your mind, so if you had any ideas, she probably knows about them.
Well, I was thinking we could go back to the Hawthorne. The Hawthorne Hotel.
And how do you plan to get in there? You just want to get a room?
That's yes.
There are many hotels, for the record.
We could just
Get a less notorious hotel.
How
Probably
about-
would be a little better.
Yes.
we get in car, we drive the random place we never go before, and we stay in the first random hotel.
Yes, but the Hawthorne is the stronghold of the Italian gang. At least one of them. I highly doubt a group of law enforcement agents are just going to roll up on that hotel.
Yeah, but you wanted to be dealing with the Italians. Going from the frying pan into the fire.
We have no relationship with the Italians in this world. We're complete unknowns to those people.
You might be, but they know another me. I don't know how his terms are with them.
I mean, we can go to a different hotel. It doesn't really matter. Ow.
Yes. You okay?
Yeah, that just hurt.
That was strange.
I didn't slap you that hard.
No, when I made that hole, I think next time I need to find some place where it's easier.
Hmm.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt as much. I don't know. That was new.
I've never seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie can do it, apparently.
It's a neat trick.
Yeah.
I did strange thing also.
The
What do you
scream.
mean? Oh, the screaming thing.
I just so angry.
Yeah.
Okay, but where we send him? We're not my father. We not know anyone.
He's got to come with us.
He can't.
He's not exactly culpable in this. She
He's
knows
got
we're
to.
not from here. Why does he have to come with us?
No, because the switch. They say, right? Ollie come here, the other Ollie go
We don't
there.
know.
I don't want.
My point is, why are we taking him with us? The feds don't have anything for him. He's not in trouble with anybody. They're not going to come after him. And if she read your mind, she knows we're not from here, and she knows we're likely going back home. Whether they even bother trying to catch us, they're going to leave him alone, especially if we're not here.
We murdered a federal agent. They're going to try to catch us.
Oh, they catch us, yes, but
But if we're not here,
They're going to go after whoever we're closest to, whoever they know we have a contact with.
and they'll talk to them, and they'll keep them as a witness, and they won't be able to find us because we won't be here. These are the cops we're talking about. They're not going
This
to
is
start.
Chicago, Ollie.
Just a quick note: if Ness's Untouchables in this Chicago are anything like the Untouchables in your Chicago, they are uncorruptible and by the book.
Okay. But we don't know that.
Just saying.
no, but we're assuming, so. Okay, but
He's better off
You
if
could
we're not.
argue that absolutely anyone will betray you, including Satroka's father. If you want to say we don't know that.
True.
You just have to.
No,
You have to make a
but-
call. I'm just throwing it out there because as a
My point being that
reminder,
we-
because I've been reinforcing the idea of
Yeah.
Chicago cops being corrupt. I just wanted to remind you that the feds, specifically Ness's feds, are known to be utterly the opposite of that. It's one of the reasons the cops hate them so much.
so
So my point being, if we take him with us, then he is fleeing with known criminals, and suddenly he becomes a suspect too. If we leave him be, and we just leave in the night, and he doesn't know where we went, he can't send him after us.
Mhm.
All they can do is talk to him, and that's it. They'd have to subpoena him to get him in court.
they will cause him problem, but not.
He'll be safe that way.
And maybe if you need to get out, the other people here get him out.
That's true. He's surrounded by a community.
So I will write him letter to explain, and we go.
Okay.
That's going to be rough. He just got
Yeah, so she's gonna sit down and write the letter, and she'll just write it in Russian because that's easier.
Sure.
And she's gonna explain, what she and Ollie had talked about, because it is her belief that she was sent here, by God to sort of what's the word? Yeah, like get that vengeance and sort
bring
of
justice
and closure and everything to all of it. So she's going to explain that in the letter and say that they're being taken away now, and it's not her. She can't do anything about that. She has to go.
Is she going to mention that actual vengeance was had?
Yeah. She will explain that, but not in detail. Like, not without, the specifics.
The person responsible has been punished.
Yeah, it's going to be
vagaries,
that.
So that's not to incriminate him in any way.
Exactly. It'll just be very emotional, and
there'll be teardrops on the paper.
Teardrops all over the paper, but she'll get it done, and so she's gonna, pack up all her stuff and make sure he's comfortable and asleep, and
Okay.
I guess if she's got a little bit of money, the local money, she'll leave a little bit for stuff it in one of his pockets or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they'll head out in the car.
You leave your note for your father, not a father, and the group of you goes driving. Just kind of pick a direction. You drive for a while. You come across a hotel called the Regency. Up there on the kind of north side, northwest of downtown. So you have a place to stay. Get a room together, all three of you. Yes, no?
Yeah, might as well just get one room, and we don't want to have to worry about missing every.
Get a room with two beds, and you are squared away for the night. Unless you have something else that you want to deal with. The sun goes down. Sun is down. Sun comes back up. You all get some sleep. It's the next morning. Rose, flowers.
Yes.
Flower shop, not hard to find.
Great.
Given the amount of actually, like, looking around, you find that there's it seems like, is there more flower shops here? Are there more people selling flowers? Like, there's even general stores that have displays of flowers. I mean, given the amount of death that there has been, and probably the number of funerals that there have been in this Chicago, it seems like there's a surprisingly large number of flower sales. So you can get what you need.
Okay. Well, Rose is probably going to buy a nice bouquet of white herself.
Okay. And you're looking to...
I'm looking to put that on my grave. The one that's here.
We'll go ahead for simplicity's sake and say that the location where young Rose from here was interred was noted at the bottom of the certificate of death, kind of like after the fact, just as a matter of record. So you are able to go to East Lawn Cemetery where there's a, it takes you a little while to find it because it's not terribly well kept. But eventually you find a small grave marker that lists your name with birth and death dates. That rose only having lived for about 6 years. So it's that extra special kind of sad that you see at a funeral or at a cemetery where there's so few years between the birth and death years. The grave looks like it has not been visited or manicured, kept in some time.
Well, then I'm probably going to take some time to manicure the grave.
Clean it up a little bit.
Yeah. And then apologize to my younger self that whatever she had to go through, the fact that her grave hasn't been well kept is sinful.
You do that. It takes a little while. You do note that there's at the grave there's one of those wire kind of spindle stands that like it just gets poked in the ground. It's like it's got a couple of circles in it and rods and pokes in the ground where you can place flowers in it. It's one of those things that just kind of gets stuck in the ground next to the headstone. And sometimes those get cleaned up and sometimes just the flowers get removed. So there is one of those there, which implies that at some point someone put flowers on this grave. There's just none there right now.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna leave all the white roses there. And then I'm gonna leave because otherwise I'm gonna cry.
Okay. Where do you go?
That is a good question indeed. I think I'm gonna start heading back to the jewelry store.
Okay. The other three of you, morning comes around, and here we are. What are you up to?
Kieran's first priority would probably be to try to find Rose. So he would use dimensional manipulation with his projection boost and hearing boost to try to track her down.
Okay. That is going to take a significant amount of time.
Kieran would probably start with, I don't know how many graveyards there are in Chicago, but
oh boy.
In his astral form, he moves 100 miles a minute.
Sure.
So he can move pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So he would start checking the different graveyards to see if maybe she decided to visit herself.
Okay.
Do some flowers or something.
Citroka, do you talk to anybody about this, or do you just walk in the bathroom and sit down and start concentrating?
It probably would be in the bathroom. He'd go find like a corner of the room to sit in, and sort of like prop himself down in the corner. His eyes starting to glow blue a little bit, and he just kind of stares off into the middle distance.
Okay, the other two of you see this. This is new.
So, what do you make of that there?
And she wave her hand in front of his face, and he doesn't react, and she'll
poke him,
be looking at his eyes, and
Ollie's gonna rummage through his pockets.
she'll give him a smack.
Don't respond.
Just start moving stuff around. Put the wallet in a different pocket, the keys in a different pocket, handkerchief in a different pocket, spare change in a different pocket.
just to mess with him, just a little bit.
Rose would be proud.
Maybe lipstick.
Yeah,
Rose would enjoy
Drawn
that.
it with lipstick.
just a little bit of lipstick. It's a nice color. Yeah, like Satroka will just kind of sit with him, keep an eye on him, and while Ollie is messing with him, she'll she helps a little bit, but mostly she's just keeping an eye on him. And
Honestly, I think this lasts for only a few minutes, and then we get bored.
And then we get bored, yeah, and then we go to wander off. And
I mean, I think we would probably, at least Ollie would probably stick around the hotel. He's not just going to leave him there in a weird trance.
no,
But
I'll tell Ollie go get us some breakfast, bring it back to the.
okay, yeah, then stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll just take turns keeping an eye on him until.
Alrighty, for simplicity's sake, this GM is going to invoke the convenience rule, which is realistically, you would never find her using that power. Not in Chicago. If you started looking all over Chicago, or it would take a very, very, very long time. But I'm going to say you get lucky, and because frankly we can't have Rose running around there by herself. You know what kind of trouble she's going to get into.
She'll just spend the rest of her life stealing stuff and living under a bridge.
If I keep it up, I might get a spit take out of her. I keep seeing her. She's sitting there with the mute on. Like next time she's taking a sip out of that cool new mug she's got, make sure to crack a joke. See if we can get a spit take out of her. Okay. You find her as she's leaving the graveyard, East Lawn graveyard.
Okay.
So you're looking at her, your astral form is floating around, and you're looking and like, oh, hey there. You recognize, at first, you recognize the car, and then you realize, yep, that's her.
Okay. I would, as soon as I figure out where she is, then I would rush back to my body and snap out of my trance, and whoever is there, I would just look up and say, I know where Rose is.
Oh, great.
East Lawn Cemetery.
Okay.
That name rings a bell to you because if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to the Hall of Records with her, so you saw the documentation.
Yep. Oh, right. Yes, that is place. Okay, we go.
So, what just happened?
What did you do? You tell us on Drive.
Yeah. Am I wearing lipstick?
It's nice color.
Is Rose here?
Ollie tries to keep a straight face and then just dies laughing in the corner. Like rolling on the floor.
You get in the car. On your way out there, Kieran, you clean yourself up. You put all your stuff back in your pockets where they're supposed to be.
He's just muttering the whole drive. He's like, trying to put things back where they go.
And you manage to get out to that graveyard, speeding in the process, to try to catch her before she leaves. And you catch her, actually, she's in the car, and she's 2 blocks away. She's on her way to wherever she was going when you pull up and flag Rose down. So the group is...
No, we're not going to flag. I'm going to pull up behind her and bump the back of her car like she did to me the other night.
Boom, boom. So, Rose, you get a bump in the back of the car.
Mother, what is that? She kind of turns around and notices Ollie, and she's like, oh.
Hello there. Top of the morning to you.
She gets out of her car, walks over to Ollie's side of the window, tells him to roll down his window. So, sir, do you know how fast you were going?
Honestly, couldn't tell you. You need a ride? I think we're going to get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You all right?
As good as I possibly could be at this point in time.
Okay.
PG.
All
We
right.
were
So
worried about you. Let's go.
Hop in the back. We're going home.
I'm gonna hop into the back of the car and kind of like rest my head on Satroka's shoulder. Like,
Yeah,
I'm glad you're not dead.
me too.
all right. So the group of you starts going where? As you start figuring out what you're going to do
I
next,
start driving back toward the Littles because they were making us a device to leave.
right?
Yeah, we can check in with them.
So that's where I start driving, whether they realize that or not.
Okay. And as you're driving, all of you find yourself thinking about everything that has happened here. Federal agent that is looking for you, supposedly, probably, very likely. A dead federal agent, a dead woman in a boarding house. A heartbroken, twice now heartbroken father who is going to lose his daughter potentially, forever for the second time.
Yeah.
And that pall, that cloud hangs over the car as you make your way to wherever it is Ali is taking all of you.
Look, guys. I just need to say this and get this off my chest. I'm sorry for how weird I've been acting. A lot of the stuff that has been happening while within this dimension, universe,
I don't yet, but yes.
it's really been bothering me on both a mental and emotional level.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't know how to deal with it, and I'm hoping you guys can understand. But there is one thing I need to do before we can actually leave here.
What?
Just to put my mind at ease.
Hmm.
So I know, Satroka, you may not have told everybody, and I know I definitely didn't tell anybody else, but the Rose of this universe died when she was 6. The records of her death doesn't say exactly how she died. It just says that she died and where she was buried. So, due to that fact, I've had to think about most of my memories from when I was a young girl. And unfortunately, the only incident that comes to mind that could have 100% killed me was meeting an Italian. So,
Why do I get the idea I'm not going to like where this is going?
you aren't. I need some help figuring out if this person actually killed 6-year-old me or not. If he didn't, then it's peace of mind for me to know that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
If he did, then we may have some trouble.
We will find out first and then worry about trouble.
I was hoping, Kieran, that I could borrow your mind powers so that way if he lies to me, we can know for certain if it was the truth or a lie.
And what happens when we find out?
Well, if we find out that this person did not hurt me or kill me in any sense of the word, then I'm willing to leave.
And what if I can't answer that question for you? What if his mind is too strong? What if he's like you?
If his mind's too strong, or if he's like me, then I'll just have to deal with not having an answer.
And let's say he did kill this other you. What are you going to do to him?
Well, those are plans for another day, dear Kieran.
No, not anymore. I want to know today what you plan on doing with him.
Well, seeing as how I've been putting a lot of people into graves recently, what's one more?
Kieran just reaches out and hugs you and whispers in your ear, "It doesn't have to end like that. We don't have to do this. She's not you."
She.
The other you.
The other me is dead.
Yes.
Pushes Kieran away, like very forcefully.
She is dead in a grave, and no matter what you do, you won't bring her back.
I understand that I won't bring her back, but I would like peace of mind.
And killing, assuming someone did kill her, whoever killed her or didn't kill her, getting vengeance isn't going to make you feel any better. It's only going to make you feel worse.
It does.
Really? Really, Petroka? It makes you feel worse, does it? You didn't even kill the person who killed you in this world.
I know.
Ollie did that for you.
I know.
That wasn't vengeance, it was mercy.
Mm-hmm. That was...
This
weird.
coming from a guy who in this world is a murderer.
But...
Yeah, that's totally mercy.
But...
Aren't we all?
But we could... If we have evidence, we can bring evidence and get... let them take to court. Then everyone here, maybe he hurt other people too, and if we send to court,
the person who may have killed me. Okay.
At this point, we're putting the cart before the horse. We don't even know if he did it.
Mm-hmm. We find
out what we need to know and make a decision then, instead of all the hypotheticals. We're wasting time. Do we want to go talk to Littles and see if our machine is ready to go first? Or do you have a name and a destination where we need to go find this person?
I have a name but no destination.
Well, that's a start. What's the name?
Capone.
Oh, good Lord. You're not serious, are you? We're not getting anywhere close to Capone. You know that, right?
If you really want to know, we should just walk up and ask him.
Well, it turns out, if I remember correctly, that lovely Fed told us that if we really want to, we could get a pass.
We don't need a press pass. You want to find Capone, just look for the group of reporters standing around him.
And
He's not exactly inconspicuous.
And you would like me to walk up to Capone without a press pass and say, "Hi, my name is Rose. I think you may have killed me."
The papers would eat that up. Of course, I don't know how much longer you can live after the fact.
They would enjoy it. Would be a good story.
I think it would be easier to have a press pass and ask for an interview of sorts.
You're not going to sit down in a room with him alone.
Probably not. That's not what I was expecting at all.
Do we even have to talk to him, or can we just get close and have Kieran read his mind? Wouldn't that just be easier? He wouldn't know the wiser.
I can
He
try.
might know, but
Yes, if you ask.
But I don't know if you've all noticed, but things have not exactly been turning out super well when I've tried that lately. Not saying I won't do it, but you just have to be ready for the possibility that things might not turn out for the best.
Mm-hmm. You can say you are writing book. You don't need pass for writing book.
She's right.
Capone glad hands with, well, okay, to be fair, if the Capone of this world is anything like the Capone of your world, he glad hands people all the time. I mean, the populace loves him. The guy funds like food kitchens. Like one of the reasons the cops have such a hard time pinning anything on him, the feds have such a hard time pinning anything on him, is that the guy is beloved by the populace. He gives them booze and feeds the poor. He's tough to take down for a whole variety of reasons, and one of them is that he is surrounded by an entire neighborhood that loves him.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you go up and say, I am writing book, I am looking into murder of child, you bring up murder of child, and then maybe Kieran tried to read mind about that. We try. We find out.
All right.
Okay, are we really doing this?
Excuse me, Mr. Capone.
Sure. Why not?
All right, I suppose I'm heading back downtown.
No, you're going to head to Cicero.
Cicero.
Let's stop at the Littles first. Just in case the machine is done. So if anything does go screwy, we can leave, I guess.
That's fair, and I have a few questions to ask them myself before we get too involved with Mr. Capone, so I think that's the wisest course of action.
Okay. You get to the Littles, you knock on the door, Arnold shows up. He looks really exasperated and he sighs heavily when he sees you.
Just the man I was looking for. Is our machine done yet?
No.
Okay. You've got any idea when it will be?
As long as it takes her.
All right, well, while we're here, might I bother you for a moment of your time? I've got a question or two for you regarding, and, you know, your reaction earlier. Can I sit down?
Sure.
I'm going in. Have a seat. So, what do you know about me in this world here?
I know that you have a reputation.
Okay, that's fair. Do you know if I have this reputation acting on my own or working for someone in particular?
I know that this other you is responsible for the deaths of a number of people.
You have names?
I do
Any of
not.
those people? No names. Do you know where I can find any names of any of these people?
The police?
I'm not exactly going to walk into a police station looking like this now, am I?
That's where you can find names.
Fine. Well, you've been no help at all. But before I leave, could I perhaps borrow a piece of paper and a pen? Something I could take with me.
He goes ahead and gets you pen and paper. This entire time he's been in the room with you, he's been very tense. He's never sat down. He's never he's been tense and kind of on edge the whole time. He has stood a distance away from you, always it's you, him, and then there's like a doorway or a window all the time.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get up and turn to leave and just stop briefly and look back at him and say, so, I'm not the me that you know. You know that because you know I'm from the other place. It turns out the me from here is over there right now, probably causing all kinds of trouble. But when I leave, he's going to be back here. So the more details I know about what he's done here, the more details I can put in this confession letter I'm about to write and send to the police. So if you can help me out at all, I'd be much obliged.
He's killed some gangsters. He's killed some bums.
Names of the gangsters, perhaps?
No one of note.
Okay.
Nothing that stuck with me.
Were they Irish? Were they Italian?
I think there was an Irish. I think.
All right. Well, you all stay hard at work on our little device. The sooner that's done, the sooner we're out of your hair. And have a fine day. We'll be back.
No, I have no doubt.
Don't sound too excited about it. And I head out.
All right.
Kieran stays after everyone else kind of moves for the door, and I'm sorry about that. As always. I can kind of do what your wife is trying to do now. I was wanting to know if there was anything I could do to help.
I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm not letting any of you people near her.
Fair enough. Well, good luck.
He doesn't respond.
I just turn around and leave.
All right.
I don't like how everyone is so rude to you, Ollie.
It comes with the face.
But his cute face.
To be
also seems
fair,
to come with the reputation.
wouldn't you be rude to us too if we sort of treated them the way we've treated them so far?
I've been nothing but polite. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think I'd be rude.
All right, so what's the plan?
I guess we're heading to find Capone?
Yeah.
You go to Cicero, you ask around a bunch, you have to spend a little money to bribe, not even really that much, because, as it turns out, the Capone of this world is, in fact, much like the Capone that you know. He is a very public figure. And so he is out and about. So, like, he has, and he also has kind of a routine. Like, he gets his hair cut at the same time, at the same place, with the same barber. He goes to certain restaurants. He goes to certain cigar shops. That routine varies a little bit. People are talking about, like, kind of like where you might expect to find him, and they say, he's probably at the boat or at the smoke shop next door.
Okay.
By the time you kind of hunt this all down,
While we're hunting for him
it's into the afternoon.
Cicero? Okay. While we're hunting for him in Cicero, Ollie's kind of like keeping his eye out for reactions, seeing if anybody recognizes him, and seeing if maybe he can gather a little more information on himself of this world, like if he worked for the Italians. So.
Sure. Give me just like a blanket charisma. Oh, deception, I would imagine, right?
I don't have deception or diplomacy, so it doesn't matter. 8 of hearts. I've got one more. I'll stick with the jack of diamonds.
You pick up on like a few people recognize you or the name. They don't necessarily recognize you as being that name. But in a few cases, people there's some recognition, but you don't come across anybody who seems to have any specific knowledge of Oliver, the other you, being associated with the Italian, with Capone's gang.
All right, or any gang in particular. I don't
Or
come
any,
across anything.
yeah, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing
Okay.
specific.
Gotcha. All right.
And you're able to hunt down Capone. You know, like you end up kind of on his trail, right? Where they say like he would probably be here or here, and so you check those places, and eventually you kind of make your way to um, the smoke shop next to the boat. The boat being the big casino where Ollie, back in your world, won big at roulette.
And then lost it all.
And then lost it all because he kept gambling like a sucker.
Well, I decided to bet on red. That's why I lost it all.
Yeah, that's true. It was going so well. Yeah, you come across Capone. He's surrounded, with there's a good half dozen big, tough-looking thug types, male and female, all very Italian. And there's 7 or 8 reporters with him, all kind of like they've got that reporter look. They're all in, they've all got the hat with the little press badge kind of card in there in the band, and they've got a notepad and a pen, and some of them are like actually taking notes of what he's saying, but a lot of them are just kind of like enamored, and they're laughing at his jokes, and he's playing to this crowd, and he's playing to it very well. He's quite the entertainer. And Capone, of course, is decked out in 3-piece suit, gold and silver rings, a very fancy fedora, and a long overcoat with like a mink collar around it.
Ooh. Ollie, you want us to go pretend to be fans?
Being friends with Capone?
No, fans.
Oh, fans. I think I'd be a little more comfortable in the background of this one if you don't mind.
All right. Kira and I will go. You, Rose, you go. You want me to go with Kira? Or you to go? Keep an eye on me.
How about you go with me, Satroka?
Okay. And well, yeah.
And
So I'll put on my vest. That face she puts on when she goes to work.
the friendly
And
face.
the where she's, especially when she's on stage and she's singing and she's pretending she's super interested in everybody.
Meanwhile,
And the
Rose
cops
is
show up and
pretending-
take him away. No, that's
Meanwhile, Rose is pretending that this is the Capone from her world. This is the Capone that she knows to make herself feel happy and hyped.
Mhm.
Instead of sad and confused
Yeah.
and worried. And all these other emotions.
Yeah. So she's just gonna treat him like, she's gonna be like, oh my god. Yeah.
all right. Well, he's in the smoke shop with his little entourage, and all these people are kind of crowded in there. There's a couple of other people that don't look to be specifically with him or a reporter that are looking through the humidors and looking at lighters and cigar cutters and so forth. And he's looking through a humidor and taking out the cigar and smelling it and commenting on it and playing the connoisseur of cigars, which it sounds like he knows what he's talking about as he goes through all this.
Okay. Well, Sidroka is actually a cigar smoker.
That is correct.
And which is why
Cigar smoke.
which is why that's her smoke form. She is. I have mentioned it. I don't often bring it up, but she pretty much continuously has. She is always smoking when she can be. So she'll kind of sidle up and be going through them, and when he's talking about them, she'll jump into the conversation about it, just to kind of warm him up.
With the goal essentially of kind of
Just getting him relaxed, keeping him relaxed,
keeping him
and
friendly,
casual.
keeping him relaxed, like not suddenly talking to him and coming across as a threat.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see a charisma-based check out of you, whatever seems appropriate to you, deception or diplomacy, depending on what you're saying.
I don't have any.
If you keep okay, well that's good. That makes it easy.
All right. Let's hope these are good. Dare I?
You can always moxie back to it.
You only have a 1 in charisma?
I have 2.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go with that. Yeah, I'll take it.
Moxie? You have lots of moxie.
I do. I don't want to... Okay, you know what? I don't want a complication involving Capone, so I'll go back to the 9.
Okay. He doesn't seem thrown off. He doesn't become hostile or anything, but he doesn't engage you in conversation.
Okay.
He's pretty neutral.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a person who's looking at cigars, and he keeps playing to his crowd. So you're kind of invisible. I mean, he knows you're there, but he's not paying you much heed.
Meh. I tried.
Who's up? All of Capone's goons pull out Tommy guns and start gunning you down. In 3, 2.
Was your idea.
Okay, they don't really do that, but I do need somebody to move the scene forward. Satroka's there to support you. She's there. And Kieran's not terribly far away. Ollie's the only one who's really not around. Is that correct?
I mean, I'm close enough that I can see what's going on.
Are you getaway car guy?
No, I'm not in the car. I would probably actually be in the smoke shop, but I'm not anywhere near the throng of people around Capone.
Okay.
I want to be kind of close to the exit, just kind of keeping an eye on things in case things go south.
Okay. Rose?
It's easy to say you're going to do something. It's difficult to actually do it. Rose was kind of leaning on Satroka, hoping that she had some good experience.
Give her just grab her by the shoulders, give her a shake, and just go, look, the sooner we get this over with, the sooner we are gone. And you never have to do it again. One time, do it now, go. She'll shove you toward Capone.
Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Capone, do you have a moment?
Sure, little lady, for you. What can I do you for?
I'm writing a book. It's about this young girl about 6 years old. Gets into a bit of trouble with, I don't know, maybe the Italians. I was wondering if you could give me some ideas on what may or may not happen if someone were to, for example, steal something from you or one of your guys.
I activate telepathy with the amnesia boost.
Okay.
Especially if they're a 6-year-old child.
Do you have the extend boost at this point before you start flipping completely?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and activate that as well.
Okay. In case you want to keep that rolling once you get it.
Spend a moxie.
6-year-old kid gets in trouble with me?
God. I have not done well with telepathy lately. It never works out.
Nope. What kind of trouble?
3 hearts.
You said steal something?
Yeah, like let's say the kid is poor on their luck. They don't have the best of situations, either at home or um, maybe they're poor and on their own, and they stole your wallet or something.
So this isn't about just the Italians. This is about me. What would the kid do? What would I do? That's what you're asking me. He gets a little, a little rough at this point. But then he kind of, to try to play that off, he looks to to the reporters and kind of gives them a wink, like, "Watch what I do here."
Can I try again, or do I just get the one check?
You can try again as we progress through the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Just, I guess, let me know when I can
Sure.
try and draw again.
So this has to do with me specifically, then, is what you're saying. What would I do to a 6-year-old girl who stole something from me? You can go ahead and make the check.
Okay.
Well, it's simple. I'd give her a job so that she didn't have to steal no more. And multiple reporters kind of awe. They don't awe, but they kind of, like they're like, yeah, that sounds like the Capone we know. That sounds like Al. And actually, like, a couple of them actually, like, call him Al. As you've been having this discussion, you've noticed that they're not all calling him Mr. Capone. There's a few that are actually calling him Al.
Jack of clubs.
Okay.
There's an issue with that statement because Rose is also feeling like, yeah, this is my Capone. That's exactly the statement I wanted to hear. Very, very happy with that statement.
So is he telling the truth?
He's
As far as I know.
well, as far as the truth goes, I mean, he's, yeah, like, basically you're hearing his words and you're kind of, prying into his thoughts as he's saying them. And he's like, you're getting, like, from the thoughts, you're getting things like, what is this brought up to? I don't understand, but seems harmless enough. And then he, said, like, he thinks exactly what he says. He doesn't run through, like, a concoction of, like, what are the different things that I could say? What would be the right thing to say?
Right. He comes up with an answer way too easily for him to be trying to concoct something.
That's what it seems like. He doesn't run through options of, like, what's going to be the right thing to tell this person.
Okay.
What if...
Oh, go ahead.
No, don't mind. I actually enjoy also that you would give the child a job, even though she is obviously very young. But what if, and this is just a what if statement, someone, maybe not you, were to, instead of provide this child with a job, harm them in such a way that would leave them without life? What would you do to that person?
What would I do to someone that kills a kid? You won't want to know. I'm afraid that's a little too delicate for you, miss.
I've been through a lot of not delicate situations before, so if you would please enlighten me.
He leans into you, and for a moment, you are inches away from a man that if he said the right word, right here, right now, you would be dead. And he says, I would kill the son of a bitch. He whispers that to you. And then he turns back to the reporters and says, and that one's going to have to be a secret between me and the little lady, fellas. And they all sort of laugh, and like they've probably seen something like this before from him.
Well, I thank you for your time. It has been very enlightening.
Do you smoke?
No, but my friend Satroka here does.
He takes the cigar that he's been, kind of examining this, or the humidor full of those cigars that he's been kind of examining. He pulls 3 out and he hands them to Satroka. And he looks back at the owner and says, "You put that on my tab." And he hands you, and from a guy who knows nothing about cigars, he hands you 3 very expensive, very good cigars.
Thank you.
And then he doesn't shun you, but he goes about his business and continues he starts to walk over to some other cigars. He starts to have a short conversation with one of his bodyguards who's there with him. The reporters continue to hang around. If Kieran if you wanted Kieran to go one more time.
Yeah, Kieran will go one more time.
Wrap up of all of this.
Kieran's going to go deep boost on this one because he's looking for a specific thing.
Okay.
In regards to this, he wants to know if he was involved with killing his brother.
Okay. Gonna do this with amnesia.
Yep.
So amnesia boost and deep boost. So you're gonna.
I only get
unbeknownst to Rose, you're digging for your own personal information rather than for Rose.
So let's see how I do. 7 of diamonds. Not gonna do it.
Wow, you were really rocking that telepathy.
I know.
Where are the kings and queens?
I know. Last Moxie. Let's see how I do. Ace of Hearts. Finally.
So what are you looking for specifically?
When Big Jim Colosimo was murdered, I want to know if Capone was there. And I want to know if he remembers seeing me and my brother. That's what Kieran's digging for.
Okay. You go digging specifically for a memory of Capone being present for the killing of Big Jim Colosimo, and you do not find one.
Okay.
He was not present.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna meet back up with Kieran,
What do you guys do? I'm gonna moxie some people up here for this.
Yeah, we'll head back to the hotel.
Kieran and Rose in particular.
We'll head back to the hotel and I can enjoy my cigar, my very expensive cigars.
Kieran looks to Rose and says, "Sorry.
Sorry?
Wasn't him. He didn't do it."
Well, that's a weight off my shoulders.
Ollie looks to Satroka and says, "I think I need one of them cigars, dear. It's payment for making me stand in a room with that man."
Fine. She'll hand him one.
This is probably a good time for us all, once we get back to the hotel room, to have a chat about some things, if that's all right with all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I've got a letter to write anyways.
Sure, let's put all of our emotions onto the table and hope that them get rolled over. Let's do that.
We will be all right.
All right. You make it all back to the hotel. You get some dinner. Your day kind of rolls along. It takes you a little while to get back. You make it back to the hotel. Nothing weird, suspicious, out of the ordinary at the hotel itself. The Regency sees low to middle end, low to middling quality of person, so to speak. It's not a fancy. It's not a slum by any means, but it's not a fancy place. You know, it's an affordable hotel. That's not terribly nice.
Okay.
All right, so what do you want to talk about?
I can't do this anymore. All the killing and the vengeance, and this is coming from me. I can't do this anymore. We blew up a federal agent. We gunned down a woman in a room full of people, and they could have gotten hurt. This is madness, and it has to stop.
It is a little more than I thought.
I mean, look at what's happened to Chicago. This could be our Chicago.
I don't like that thought.
And we're just pushing things farther and faster towards this reality. And we have to stop it.
What do you propose we do?
We flip. We rat. We work for the cops. We work for the feds. We have to stop the war on our side. It has to stop.
What information do we have that the feds are actually going to be able to use besides turning ourselves in?
Knowledge of most of the speakeasies in this city. Knowledge of the comings and goings of both the Irish and the Italians.
Well, yes.
That's valuable intel.
And you're going to get up on a stand and testify to that?
Yes.
With both of them gunning for you?
Yes.
I'm open to seeing where this goes, but we have to be realistic here. Like, it's not very easy to put anything that's going to stick to these people without ending up with a bullet in your eyes.
And I don't want that. I am with you. I don't want to do this. I like to steal things. It's fun, but I like drinking. I like the party, but I don't like the death and the killing. And I find it I don't like. And now I think I want maybe have real life, be with Ollie, but not running from gangsters or cops or anything.
The other me has been on our side for a little while now. I might be running myself when we get back over there.
I am worried, yes. I don't want anything to
I hear you, Kieran. And if we get the opportunity, I will go along with you. We'll play it by ear. I don't think that I don't know how it's going to go, but we have our mission.
We do.
We came here for a reason. We're going back for a reason. If it's going to stop the war, if it's going to shut everything down, then so be it.
Yes, we trust. We will trust Ollie. We will have faith.
Rose.
I don't mind switching. The only issue is that no matter where we're going, no matter what we're going to do, there's always going to be killing. And if we end up at a place where it's us or the Italians, there may be an issue.
We don't think so far ahead. We'll be all right.
Well, we do know if we go to the Capone, or if we go to the feds, they're gunning for Capone. So that's going to be a very likely scenario.
Yeah, and seeing as how I'm probably the one with the most information on Capone,
Mhm.
that isn't like hearsay from all of the lovely fan club, you know.
Do you think you not want to turn on Capone, no?
I'm not certain if I'm willing to turn on Capone, but I'm also not certain that the way we're going should continue. I'm currently worried that once we get back there, Giuseppe's going to be mad at me because I disappeared for probably a week. And that Thomas, my lovely flatmate, might not be mad at me, but his parents might be because we did plan something.
Oh, oops. Well,
Oh, you've got a whole bunch of people that are like wondering where you guys went for the last week or so.
yeah.
Oh, yes. And wonderful thing, when we went and got Giuseppe out of prison, I used my mother's name. So there's a very likely chance my mother's in jail. I mean, she should be there anyway, but
Okay. Well,
just note that I may be wanted.
I think you'll be fine.
That's more than one of us. Given,
You have a club.
yes, right. Given our organization before we ended up leaving, are you proposing we just turn on all those fine people that have helped us along the way?
No.
And how do you? I mean, there's dozens of people that have been complicit in some fairly illegal activities. How do you propose that we end up turning state's evidence without and secure some kind of safety for them?
How are we gonna secure Maggie's safety and her little speakeasy?
Mm-hmm. We will have to think of these things. We will keep
Just
in
something to
mind.
think about.
I negotiate
Got some time.
for immunity.
Immunity for 100 or plus people.
We give them a big enough fish.
And which fish would that be? Do you want Capone or do you want O'Banion?
Both.
Okay, we're hoping for a shark. Got it.
I'm not saying all at once.
But you're not saying one at a time either.
Their case.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, yes. But
We have time. Let's just get back home and we'll figure it out then. We've got to see what kind of damage has been done while we've been gone. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of pieces to pick up before we can even consider going to Ness or whoever we're planning on going to.
we take a step like baby.
What she said.
Yes.
Go to my contact in the FBI, Agent Corwin.
Sure, him.
That's the credentials.
If his credentials haven't been taken from him already, seeing as how we were, in fact, caught leaving
It will be fine.
with a wanted man.
People
You
were
worry
caught
too much.
leaving using credentials that may or may not have been fake. They don't know. We
You
signed-
worry too much.
You're right, Satroka. I do worry too much. But I worry because I don't want to find you dead tomorrow morning.
Yes, but sometimes
Being
sometimes
dead
you worry.
tomorrow morning is better. Jeez.
Sometimes you worry. Sometimes you just get on with day.
If the worst should happen, I just want all of you to know I've been putting money aside, buying
No.
small bits of property out west.
Nope.
nothing particularly valuable. I mean, a lot of it is just desert or the odd orchard here and there. But
Oh,
if LA ever grows, could be worth some money someday.
You know, you're not dying alone.
no.
Didn't say I was dying.
You didn't say it was anything good either.
I'm just letting you all know.
That's
The deeds are at a safe at Maggie's.
she kind of gets a bit of a look in her eyes. She gives Ollie a bit of a look.
It's
Like you can see
it's
the
an
little
out.
bruises turning.
If things should turn for the worse and we need to leave Chicago and not come back.
That
You
sounds.
better be 100% certain that it's a we leave Chicago and not just 3 of us leave while one of us stays to die.
No, it's not happening.
I have no plans on dying.
No.
I have no plans on dying either, but apparently it's a chance.
It's fine. Let's go.
All right, good talk. Oliver stands up. He grabs the nearest bottle of whiskey. He walks over to Citroka and gives her a little kiss on the forehead and says, "I'll be back in an hour or two."
Where are you going?
I'll let you know when I get there. And
Ollie,
he just heads out the door.
you're a want. Kieran follows him.
And he just heads to the car, hops in the car, starts
Kieran.
it up, and drives off.
Kieran gets in the car with him.
You make me challenge this? All right, then. You're coming
Okay, I guess we're having girls' night.
Ollie, we are wanted criminals. What are you doing?
Just told you I'm going to church.
Want to finally go for that expensive dinner?
Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to tag along if you want, but you're going to be mighty bored.
Okay, so quick question, just because I know Ollie. When Ollie says he's going to church, does he mean he's literally going to church, or are you going to get hammered?
No, he's taking the whiskey with him. He's going to probably get hammered before he walks in the door, and there's a reason for that.
All right.
But he's going to a cathedral.
Okay. All right. Well, you go to church. Kieran in tow.
Kieran, are you coming with me?
Yeah.
I'm not letting you out of my sight.
Pull up to the church. I'm going to pull out that piece of paper and pen before I go inside, and I'm going to scribble a confession on it that reads something along the lines of, things have gotten out of hand. I'm beginning to fear that, along the lines of, I'm beginning to fear that I've done irreparable damage to my soul, blah, 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 blah. But actually, I'm going to briefly mention prior murders. I'm going to actually spell out in detail the murder of the federal agent and the murder of Liz, and the most recent two as a confession. I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to little ink drop and just kind of casually rub my thumbprint in it, so it doesn't look like I put it there on purpose, but it dripped ink and my thumbprint's on it, so that there's actual evidence. I'm gonna chug that bottle of whiskey, and I'm gonna stumble into the confession booth.
Okay. After the, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. How long has it been since your last confession? Da, 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 da. What are you telling the priest?
I'm gonna tell him in a very drunken stupor, I've done things that I regret, and I'm having a moment of clarity and repentance here, Father. I don't know that I don't want to go through with this in the morning, so I've written it all down, and I'm going to slide the note under the window and say, "Get this to the police. I'll probably run in the morning,
All right.
but something needs to be done."
Okay.
And I start doing a Hail Mary right there in the confessional, very drunkenly.
Sure. You wrap that up. you go through a whole Hail Mary. As you walk out of the confessional, you hear a gasp from the priest's side of the confessional as he gets to that point in your letter. And you
walk out the door, detoxify myself, get back in the car, and drive back to the hotel.
Okay, and so the guys are back. Were the ladies doing anything in particular while the guys were gone? Just hanging out?
Yes, we went to dinner.
Yeah.
Got yourself a nice dinner.
It was a very expensive dinner.
All right.
Yeah, so we got all dolled up, and we'll go have a dinner. I mean, obviously, this is all other people's money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
definitely, while we're there, Rose is like walking past people whenever she needs to use the water.
oh yeah,
Be like things every once in a while.
Okay.
but yes, we enjoy a very lovely dinner with a lot of good wine.
Okay. But don't otherwise draw significant attention to yourself. You have a nice dinner. And the evening comes, nighttime comes. You're all back together with your fancy room at the Regency. Getting some sleep. Taking off somewhere in the dead of night. What's the plan?
I mean, Ollie's got no other plans until we can hop back to the other dimension. So I think at this point, if nobody else has plans, we're just going to go to the Littles and camp there until they're done with the device. Put some pressure on them.
I mean, guys, we don't have to wait for the Littles. I can get us home.
Can you now?
Yeah.
Well,
You got about this far open before and damn near passed out. You gotta make a hole big enough for all of us.
I need to go someplace where the hole's already been opened. And I know of a place.
right.
Back to the hotel.
Back to, well, either there or the place where Maggie opened the hole.
But
I like that idea better.
Chicago way.
we also give. We already give them money. Those people. Because I feel bad.
We
for-
can check back in with them. We can come back here if we ever need to.
I'm sure they'll hunt us down and try to collect from the other side if they can cross over.
Which they'll be able to. So,
Well,
okay.
I feel mostly mentally stable to travel through a wormhole to another place. I mean, we saw Citroka's death.
Mhm.
Arden has repented.
Mhm.
I am okay, I guess. Wherever Kieran in this world is, we still don't know, but I guess that'll be for a later date.
might not even be one.
Might not,
Mhm.
but there also might be.
Oh well. Let's go.
Yeah. Back to the place we know so well. With people who are possibly very mad at us for leaving for so long.
Okay.
Especially Maggie, who we told we were going to be gone for a night, probably.
Yeah, I imagine Maggie's going to be pretty mad.
I mean,
Let's go get reamed out by the people we need to be reamed out by.
I've been going for a night before and it's lasted a week or two. That's not unusual.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for you.
Yeah.
Wake up where I don't know where I am, a couple of blocks away, miles away.
Yeah, I don't think Kieran's ever gone this long without talking to Maggie.
No.
I don't think he's even gone a week without talking to Maggie.
Yeah, and like Satroka's always around being annoying everybody, so.
So Maggie might think I'm dead, honestly. I've been gone this long. Like, Kieran's never gone more than a day or two without contacting her. So
Yeah.
I want to have a little fun with that then.
Rose has been gone for longer.
I just want to get out of this
This
All right, fine.
horrible place.
I think she would have at least sent a letter being like, I am still alive.
We could go back dressed as ghosts and scare the shit out of everyone.
then do we want to go back to the portal that is obviously in the species?
That depends. How badly do you want Maggie to beat you with a 2x4?
She
I'm
would.
pretty certain that Ollie
She
wants
would.
to die with
She
the
would have to hit me
2x4.
first.
Oh, she would. And she would take time.
She just never give you another drink again, Ollie.
Oh yeah, that would be a damn shame, now wouldn't it?
Not to mention that lovely bartender that you pissed off last time, huh?
Not to
Which
mention
one?
she
Which
spread
one?
rumors that you were a deadbeat to every watering hole.
Okay, fine.
You'd be lucky if you even get a drink back at the other hotel bar. Ugh.
You're a bunch of buzzkills, all of you.
Hey.
Not
I
you.
mean, I didn't say no.
Anyways, are we heading back there now? Do you want to get a good night's sleep first? What do you want to do?
We got this. We can go.
I'm ready to go home.
I think I'm ready to go back. Besides, this bed isn't the same as my bed back there, so...
Get the hell out of here.
Okay, we head back to Chicago way.
All right, you go drive your stolen vehicle
Yeah.
to that little 3-block stretch of road that kind of goes underneath, kind of through a tunnel, but it's actually like underneath a train track. And that little road is called Chicago Way. This being the spot where you have this vague recollection of Maggie taking you many years ago, back in 1917, as a matter of fact, when she escaped with you following the events that you have since forgotten, or at least some of them. And there you are in that tunnel.
And Kieran will go ahead and try to... Oh, before he starts, he turns and looks at everyone. He goes, once I get this thing open, you all need to go through as quickly as possible. I won't be able to hold it for long. And the longer I hold it, the more of a toll it's going to take on me. So be ready.
Okay, but we not leave you.
You won't leave me, but once I open this thing, we all have to go through as quickly as possible. Otherwise, it's going to hurt me a lot. And Kieran will go ahead and open the portal.
You open a portal to your Chicago.
Yes.
It starts with a pinpoint of light that slowly opens up to the size of a basketball, larger and larger. And it gets to the point of being about 7 feet across, 7 feet tall, with the lip of it right on the ground. And that at that moment it stabilizes, and then you look through it and you see, like, around the edges, you see this Chicago that you're in, which is has seen better days. There's buildings that are decrepit and have are damaged. There are, of course, the fire damaged buildings. There's like a little more trash around the area. Places just hasn't been kept up as well. Looking through the portal, you see a slightly you're looking through that tunnel. You're looking down into that tunnel, but it's the difference between what's outside the portal, outside the edge of the portal, and what's in the portal is just a little different. Like there's clearly you're looking at something a little different, and the portal opening stabilizes for a moment.
I have Ollie's arm, and I just drag him through.
Yeah, we just jump right through.
Kieran's like, go, 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 go. Craig, how long would you say it would take for everyone to get through this?
Everybody can walk through it in a round if Rose says she's going through it.
Okay.
Rose is gonna do her best to walk through this portal while also attempting to look back every once in a while to see if Kieran is coming or not.
Kieran is walking towards the portal as he's doing this.
All right. Kieran and Ollie and Satroka step through. Rose steps through, looks back. Kieran is right on her heels and steps through. Yes.
Yes.
Steps through the portal. It's the moment you set your both feet down on the ground on the other side of the portal. Kieran, you fall to the ground unconscious.
Okay.
Portal snaps shut behind him. And the three of you who are left standing there feel you're in a different place than you just were. Kieran, stepping through the portal tears your mind. You find yourself thinking and flashing back through memories of the things that have just happened, of the night at the boarding house, of the sting gone wrong, of meeting Satroka's father in this other Chicago. And then walking around the Hawthorne basement, you're back in your Chicago, or the one you've known as home for all this time. And you and your friends are walking through the Hawthorne basement, and then you're breaking Giuseppe out of the courthouse, and then you're killing people at Sully's, and then there's the heist at the Purple Gang's warehouse. Then you're meeting with Baba Zoya and the Stevedores and so forth. The first time you met the Ice Queen at the Torrio warehouse. The first and second time you dealt with the O'Donnells. And then even earlier to when Maggie opened Sully's in the first place. And then to the time when Maggie walked you through that tunnel at Chicago Way when she rescued you from the world you had known as home all those years ago. And then even further back to a point where you are running away from something or someone. Further back to 1917. To standing with your brother in an alleyway behind Colosimo's Cafe, a little greasy spoon diner owned by Big Jim Colosimo many years ago. When a gunshot rings out, and then another, and another. And Big Jim Colosimo, you recognize him from the newspapers, he stumbles out the back door of the cafe, and he falls just yards away from the two of you, you and your brother. A man walks out of the back door of the cafe, raises his pistol, levels it at Colosimo lying on the ground one more time, takes one more shot into Colosimo's head. The man looks over to you and your brother. He raises his pistol. He fires, striking your brother. He fires again, striking you in the leg. You limp away and start running, but as you look back, for just a moment, as the man steps under a streetlight, you get a good look at his face and this memory that you left behind, that you tore out of your own mind so long ago. You see a man that you recognize. He's 10 years younger than you know him now. And his name is Giuseppe Sacamano. And that's where I'm going to end today's game.
Yay!
So what's that you were saying about not killing anymore?
That was a good one.
Not the Giuseppe on our side.
No, this is a different Giuseppe.
It's true. Technically it
Rose
is.
and Kieran are going to be perpetually fighting, I think.
Yeah.
Never go back to this other world. Rose and Kieran. Oh.
I know.
It's not
Wait,
really
Kieran-
fun.
Kieran has gone and put some ideas in Satroka's head now. Because she's like, yeah, if we're gonna turn witness and whatever, and then that means, we have a chance to settle down a little bit. Which means, and he's like, hey, we got some farms over there in California. Like, that might be a place to go and have a whole bunch of babies.
I've been sitting on this for a little while. And I will be honest, when the group of you started talking about the idea of flipping evidence and not engaging in these activities anymore, I couldn't be more tickled at what I was about to do. And I was sitting quietly waiting until I could finally reveal it. So I think Kieran has, because Kieran's the only one who knows this. And I think Kieran has a decision to make, probably. But we will see what happens with that in future sessions. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the game. I hope you enjoyed this.
Yes.
That was fun. And
It was a good one. A little more lighthearted than the last couple episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
We ended on a sour note.
Well, you didn't
but...
spend half an hour talking to a clinically depressed woman who was begging you to commit to kill her because she couldn't commit suicide herself.
So that was
didn't
good.
blow up any cops.
That is a little on the dark side. But yeah, so everybody who's watching, thank you for joining us. Tune in next time around, either on the stream or come and find it on video on demand, and we will see what Kieran decides and how everything goes with this great plan of
super great.
flipping
Totally
state's
flawless.
evidence.
Totally perfect, flawless, well thought out plan.
50 years before the witness protection program exists.
Yeah.
So this will be fun. Bye, everybody.
We'll go to California and be fine.